Hi, my name's Jacob Burgess. I'm the Director of Operations and Community Manager for Ysbryd Games. We are here at LudoNarraCon to talk about cyber bartender action Nirvana. I am here with Sukeban Games, Fernando, and Chris. Say hi, Fernando and Chris.
Hi, Fernando and Chris.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, no.
Nice job, Fernando.
Both at the same time. You
I
can't
know.
do that.
Okay. How about, Fernando, how about you say hi first?
What?
Okay,
I'm waiting
good job.
for you.
This is going to go great. I can already tell.
Oh, well.
So, Fernando, if you'd be so kind, could you introduce yourself and just talk a little bit about what you do at Sukeban Games?
All right. I'm Fernando Damas. Why did I pronounce my name like that? Anyways,
I don't
I'm
know.
Fernando. I'm the programmer and writer for Valhalla and Nirvana, and technically I'm also the co-owner of the company, but that doesn't apply here, so who cares?
So who cares? But I thought I'd mention it anyway. Chris, do you want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what you do while I pour myself a bourbon?
No, I'd rather tell the tale. That one time, I hunted a shark in a forest.
Okay.
Well, anyway, my name is Chris. I work at Sukeban Games. Go ahead and pour that bourbon. I do all of the art, and I do a bunch of other shit. I feel like I can do everything except write, which is why I have Fernando with me, and he has me.
That's good. That's awesome. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know that one of the primary members of Sukeban Games is so humble. I feel like I can do anything.
No. That's something I have to do. You know. I need to portray myself as a really powerful person, or else society will just kill me.
No, I get that. And I heard that you once hunted a shark in a forest, and that's really impressive.
Good. That was a fantastic experience. It was last year in Europe. Holy crap, that was an experience.
I'm certain that was.
I went hiking with only a bottle of water. I was called the most powerful person in all of Switzerland.
That's a very long title for a water. Huh. So hey, how about we talk about some Nirvana, shall we?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
The reason that we're here at LudoNarraCon is to, in fact, talk about this fantastic, fantastic game. But before we talk about the sequel, we should probably talk a little bit about the original. So, if you'd be so kind as to just tell us a little bit about what led Nirvana to be. What was your first game, for those that may not know?
First game was an anniversary game that we made for a blog that if we posted anywhere, we'd get copyright claim everywhere. If we talk about our first game, that was our first game, but that's not the relevant game here.
No. And you have just demonstrated that I need to ask very specific questions, because you're both huge wise asses. By the way, for those of you that may not know, those of you that may be watching the stream, this is the first time we've met. This is literally the first conversation that we've ever had. It's going to be great.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean that's pretty much how every interview goes.
I mean,
you never really know the other person.
I mean, that's true, but we work together. This is just the first time that we've talked.
Yeah, but I'm pretty happy to be here in the Jacob experience.
You know what? Yes, you are. You are very happy to be here in the Jacob experience. And that was the right answer. Flattery will get you everywhere. So tell the audience, if they may not know, a little bit about the first game in this series, the first game in this universe, Valhalla. He said very specifically.
So Valhalla was made originally for a game jam called Cyberpunk Jam, because we're a bunch of goddamn contrarians. We saw everyone be like, oh, you're playing as a hacker, you're playing as a hero, and we were like, fuck it, you are the background character. And
That's pretty much the story.
then the idea apparently was good enough for people to throw money at us, and we were like, yeah, screw it, we're going with this.
This is what we're doing. Awesome. So
The funny,
I'm
the
sorry.
funny thing is that originally we Valhalla was going to be like a side project to finance our main project.
How'd
But
that
then
go?
with time we were like, nah, let's just make this the main project. How did you think it went?
I think pretty good. I have a job.
Oh man, like the effect Valhalla has had in our lives has
Yeah.
been just nothing short of amazing, life-changing stuff. And it's also the source of my anxieties because expectations and all of that.
Yeah.
We have very big shoes to fill with this new game, and it's always a pressure that's it's there. It's scary. It's very stressful, but damn, it's a good motivator too.
Yeah. Nothing will get your ass moving like stress.
Exactly.
Yeah. If
That's how
only-
the first game came to be.
So what was the you made Valhalla, it was a huge success, like you said. It was absolutely life-changing. What led from Valhalla, which is, it's set in Glitch City, which all of the corruption, everything is kind of at the forefront. You experience it through everybody that comes into the bar that you're actually mixing drinks for. One of the things that I like is you don't have the traditional dialogue choices. It depends on how much you give a crap about your customer, how much you listen to them, and what drink you actually provide for them. That's what takes the story different places. And in Glitch City, all of the shit is like right up front. All of that gritty corruption. You hear a whole bunch of different stories. I'm not going to spoil too much of the story because Valhalla is out now. You're already on Steam watching this. You should go buy it. What are you doing? How is that different? How does that juxtapose with what's happening in Nirvana? Because it's the same situation with a different person. But tell us a little bit about that. How did that lead into, like, from the first one to the second one?
So one thing that happened as we released the game was that we basically opened up to the rest of the world. Like, we started meeting up people from other places and became more aware of stuff in the rest of the world. And one thing that stood out notably from that is that it's not like the situation that inspired Valhalla was unique. It's just the very specific flavor of those circumstances were the unique side of things. But the corruption, the greediness, the everything that we lived through that inspired Valhalla is everywhere. It's just different, maybe more upfront on some situations, maybe less upfront in others. So we decided to explore that other side of things. That sort of, okay, we have the classic corrupt city one, but let's try to switch the background to something that you see more in a first world country, so to speak, where everything seems all right. If you compare Glitch City to, say, Galicia, is like night and day, but in the end, it's just as corrupt, maybe even more in some places. Just the quality of life in general is a bit above average compared to Glitch City.
I get the feeling through the demos that we've taken to different PAXs and shows, through the two demos that we've shown, one with Parka and the other one with the character Olivia. I get the impression that, and don't spoil anything if I'm about to ask a question that you don't want to talk about yet, which is totally cool because I enjoy teasing people. But I get the impression that Saint Alicia is this kind of veneer almost, putting its best face forward while it kind of rots in the background, whereas in Glitch City, everything was just on the surface all the time.
That's basically it.
Cool. I feel smart.
The whole
Well, the thing is that it was mostly it came from a culture shock. Let's see. The first time I ever left Venezuela was for when we went to Tokyo Game Show in 2017, and as soon as
Holy
I,
shit.
you know, made a step
Squirrel.
forward in that plane and saw you know, Japan for the first time with my own two eyes, was like, holy shit, man, this is a totally different world.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the culture itself. I actually felt pretty much at home. The thing that stood out to me the most was that everything was made to be convenient, which is something I was never used to in Venezuela. I mean, we had pretty comfortable lives, all things considered. I mean, we had a home, we had computers with internet. I mean, we were able to make a video game, so that pretty much, you know, lets you assume that we had a certain quality of life going on, but it's not like we were, you know, rich or anything. We just had the basics we needed to accomplish the thing we set out to do.
Yep.
But anyway, once we, you know, get to Japan and see all the things they have, all the conveniences, like holy crap, there is like a vending machine everywhere. The streets are clean, everything works, trains are
at
on
night.
time. There's almost no crime or whatever, or that's at least what they want you to believe. Um, I mean, by comparison, it was pretty much perfect, and I fell in love with it even more than I was already. And that's something that reflects a lot in Nirvana, because we wanted to reflect, you know, that impression we had with the outside world, because we thought our standard of living was even if not similar to other countries, we were like, well, we're not that bad until we actually, you know, went outside the country. So, well, shit, man, we were living in a shithole, huh? We're just used to it.
To give you a frame of reference of how inconvenient Venezuela is, when I was working the contract stuff for the Girls Frontline collaboration, I had to make copies of the contract and then send them their way. Simple enough. When I did that here, it was like I just went to the company in the corner. I stood there for like 10 minutes, making duplicates of the contract. Then I went back to my apartment. That was just right there. I signed the stuff. I stamped the stuff. And then I went to the post office that was just nearby. I gave them the address, and that was that. So to give you a frame of reference of how difficult that will be in Venezuela, just the copies, just the copies of the contract will have taken me one day to find a place that had a working copy machine, and then that will have cost me like a whole meal to get the copies, maybe even more, because the whole thing was just inflated in price. And then that was just one day. The next day will be spent trying to get the delivery in place, and that will be another fortune just to send. When I was able to do that in less than 3 hours, compared to at least 2 days in Venezuela, I was like, Jesus Christ.
And that's mostly like, I'm pretty sure people from Caracas, Venezuela's capital, don't have these kinds of issues. but we were living, in the
We're from the
sticks pretty
boonies.
much. Yeah, we were like in the
Country
middle of
didn't show
fucking
up
nowhere.
my country didn't show up in Google Maps until very, very recently. Both neighboring cities showed up, but our city that was technically a capital, no. My city, I mean.
Yeah.
I got nothing to say to that, but holy shit. That's messed up. So you had mentioned here, Fernando, where are you calling from, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm from my apartment here in Japan,
Nice.
in Osaka.
Oh. We'll have to talk about that more later. I lived in Osaka for a little while. We talked a little bit about that.
Yes, you mentioned that. I told the story
yeah.
you told me to Chris. He was like,
Yeah.
what is it with foreigners and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, but that's not for this. That's not for here. That's not for these fine people. I appreciate you bringing that up, though. That was a really good try.
I think
Chris,
I know what you mean.
Probably, but I'll tell you about that some other time, Chris. Thanks a lot for putting me on the spot in public. Oh, this is a fun interview. Chris, where are you calling in from?
I'm calling from the city of Fury, Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Did you say the city of Fury?
Well, yeah, man, that's like one of my favorite songs from Soda Stereo.
Oh shit.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Tina.
take a little moment in this interview to write that shit down because that sounds fucking rad.
You have to look. You have to look it up. The Ciudad de la Furia.
I'm gonna freaking do that.
Did it in English.
No, hey, good music is good music. I don't care where it's from or what language.
That's a badass song. That's like one of my favorites.
Awesome. I am super goddamn looking forward to it. And thank you very much for telling. I mean, that must have been fucking Jesus. I literally cannot imagine. I do not have a frame of reference for that kind of experience. Like, I grew up poor, but I grew up poor in like upstate New York. I don't have a frame of reference for that experience, especially being able to make a video game and release it while going through all of that shit.
And you know what?
If you don't mind me asking,
Yeah.
how old are you?
How old am I?
If you don't mind me asking.
No, I don't, because I look really good for my age. I'm 40.
You're 40.
Yes,
oh,
I am.
all right. So you grew up in the Julianis, New York?
I grew up upstate New York and in New York itself. Yeah. So upstate New York,
okay.
I will tell you later because that's not something I want to be recorded or made public.
That's not something we
honest to
need
God,
recorded.
Look, we've been talking for 17 minutes and I've had such a good time and this has been such like a chill chat. I almost forgot that this was going to be made public. So we can have we can schedule a call and grab some drinks and sit down and shoot the shit about a bunch.
It's just that I'm really fascinated by 80s and 90s New York because of the contrast between those two eras.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Huge
for a
difference.
while everyone thought New York was just a shithole full of criminals, and then it just suddenly became the capital of the world.
Yep.
And that transition, it's really fascinating to me.
Yes, it was a weird time to grow up in, and I'm sure it affected my development. So anyway, back to Nirvana.
Going back for a second to the thing you mentioned about not being able to imagine how it was. The thing is, Chris and I, relatively speaking, we had it good. Like, compared to a lot of people in the country, to a lot of other family members, we had it easy. And if you compare the situation with anyone else in the world, it was like, how did you manage? And we're like, what are you talking about? We were fine.
Yeah, because when you grow up, like Chris had mentioned, when you grow up in a situation like that, that just becomes normal.
You just get used. You just get used to it. Once I saw the standard of living everywhere, even here in Argentina, it's like, whoa, holy shit, Venezuela was really fucking bad.
I mean, I've had friends from other places, mostly from the States, tell me about how they were how it was living growing up poor, and I was like, that was poor. That was just middle class in Venezuela. What the fuck?
yeah.
Yeah.
That happens a lot. Yeah.
Yep. No, I'm not. I wouldn't dare try to compare trauma with you two. That would be a big mistake.
Anyways, back to Nirvana.
Yeah. Anyway,
Mario.
back to Nirvana. This interview is going great, by the way. I do. One of the things that I did want to ask is, so you said Nirvana was born from kind of a culture shock, and to kind of put a more modern, a higher class city in the world. I want to ask a little bit about the time frame, because I understand that this is a sequel to Valhalla. I know the answer to this, but I'm asking you so that you can say it and we can show these fine people that are watching this right now. Where does this take place in the timeline? Do you have a name for the universe? Do you just call it the Valhalla universe? What do you call it?
Call it the game world. Because
I call it the bullshit we make along the way.
Good. Excellent. Okay. That's not really quite catchy, so let's go with the game world.
So yeah, it takes place after the events of Valhalla.
Okay.
And
one of the most intriguing things from the trailer. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
No, don't worry. I was about to say something really stupid.
Oh.
Yeah. So it takes place after Valhalla. It takes place, just to give people a proper frame of reference, but without spoiling too much. Valhalla establishes like the furthest calendar point in the timeline, with the endings and stuff. It takes place after that. How long after that? That's not, we're not gonna talk about that right now.
Good.
But after that.
Excellent. Because one of the most intriguing things from the trailer is the events of Glitch City Change the World, which is a delicious hint at what's to come. So I don't think we should talk any more about that unless there's anything that you're actually prepared to say, without giving too much away. But that bit of writing, just that little hook is, chef's kiss good. So let's talk about
that's a really good way to put it.
Yeah, it's
just a chef kiss.
Just a So let's talk about, now we talked a little bit about the juxtaposition between Valhalla and Nirvana. You know, corruption on the forefront versus corruption in the background. Let's talk about the juxtaposition between Sam, our new protagonist, and Jill, our former protagonist. How did you make the decision to set it in a different city completely instead of, for example, continuing Jill's story?
I mean, if you're gonna make a sequel to a very beloved property, you better make it different, because otherwise there is no point. I don't see the point of making the same game all over again. So if we were gonna make a new one, it had to be completely different. It had to be, even if not the exact contrary to the previous game, it had to be, it's so widely different to be justified, for its existence to be justified. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's for example, Sam, she's radically different from Jill. Like Jill, oh man, I love her. I love Jill, but she's kind of moody all the time. The famous the famous quote unquote resting bitch face, and that kind of thing. But Sam is more like, spunky. She's all smiles, and it's like, yeah, hell yeah, man, let's go. She's more like, or the otaku will call her Genki, you know.
To
Yeah,
give you a
she's more like.
to give you an idea of how of
The other
the
difference is
difference
that
that
she's also, in a relationship with someone else. And while Jill was single and has been, since a pretty traumatic event.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the hair is pink. For one, Jill has black hair. It's the small. It goes from the small stuff to the big stuff.
Yeah.
It, yeah, that's pretty much why we did it, and we had to make it different, or else there's just no point in doing it.
Yep.
We need to keep things fresh, keep things moving forward always, and never get attached to the things that work. And we rather just see where we fail, improve from that, but doing it in a completely new package, so the results can be seen in with a set of fresh eyes.
That's really cool.
big thing.
I'm sorry,
Yep.
Fernando. Go ahead. No, you go ahead, man.
Yeah, so a big thing with that was also basically not trying to trample on Valhalla, so to speak, because we know how loved the game is for everyone. So one of our fears was to just like uh, tempering with it too much that people will have the Game of Thrones effect, where a series everyone loved got spoiled by the last season, and now everyone hates it because it made everything awful in comparison afterwards. we didn't want that sort of trampling over what we did, so it's also
Yep.
it's also sort of respect for the people that love Valhalla. It's like, you love it, it's gonna stay that way. We're not going to touch it too much. We've done stuff like the April Fool's game and stuff, but
Yeah.
the thing that happened in Valhalla, that happened. We're building up somewhere else.
Nice.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So you would mention the April Fool's game. There might be some folks out there that don't know about it and are actually looking for some more content in this world. Can you talk about that a little bit?
It's
Wait,
called...
about the game, or about more
about
games inside the
April,
world?
the April Fool's game.
the April Fool's game.
For folks that might not know about it.
It's called Valhalla Kids. It's basically, we took a bunch of the characters and we put them in high school. And it was basically just a very convoluted excuse to make a homage to Famicom Detective Club. In fact, the game was originally, in fact, the project folder is still called Sukeban Detective because of that. And then I remembered that Sukeban Deka's name translates into that, and we were like, shit.
Yeah, that was a pretty funny moment.
In fact, the funniest part of it is that since we released it in April Fool's, there's a lot of people that still think it was a joke. To this day, we still post about the game from time to time, and people are like, wait, that was for real?
Wait, what the fuck? I can download this to my computer and play it. Holy shit.
Holy
it's
crap.
real.
Yeah, the best April Fool's jokes are the ones where you're like, no, MFers. It exists. Here. Yeah. Oh. Your commitment to continuity is something that I love. I'm also in my life outside of Ysbryd. I'm a games writer, and I write for tabletop and things like that. And your commitment to continuity and just your commitment to your bits is just A+. Just well fucking done. You have at least for me, you have my utmost goddamn respect.
It's like, but
Damn,
it's like by
thank
that
you, dude.
days. If you're gonna get your feet stuck in the mud, you might as well dig yourself deeper. So
That's a good
That's
goddamn.
one way to put it.
That's a good attitude. That lets me know what kind of questions I can ask, which is great. So tell me a little bit more. I mean, we're going to go into, so definitely stay tuned, audience, because we're going to have another interview a couple of days after this. If you're watching this live, we're going to talk a little bit more about the characters. But one of the things that was revealed is that Sam is I mean, while being wildly different from Jill, like almost the opposite in almost every physical and personality aspect. She's also a single mom. What? So what? Like how much insight are we going to have into that experience, into that part of her life?
Oh, let me fix that one for you. She's not a single mother here.
Okay.
She shares her life with a significant other, who has this very interesting life, which ties directly to the themes of the game about living in what we call a false paradise, where everything looks all right on the outside, and super bad on the inside. And it's this dynamic what we're very excited to show the world.
Okay, that's cool as hell. Okay, so I noticed that you chose your words very carefully, so I'm going to ask a follow-up question, and you can just decline to answer because it's your goddamn interview and you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
So you said she shares her life with a significant other. That doesn't necessarily mean that this other person is a parent to Sam's kid. Would that be correct?
It is. It is. But it's kind of tricky because I don't know why I'm so doubtful to say that they are not married. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time. It's not a spoiler. We wrote this in the press release, I think.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm struggling so much with hiding that info. It
No, that's fair.
not
No.
anywhere.
You. It's okay.
But yeah,
it's
they're living together and they're a couple.
okay.
They're on and off. They just have a really weird thing going on. If anyone has watched this show, this really good show called Atlanta, you pretty much know the gist of the relationship, the dynamic, where they're not really a couple, but they are, and they are pretty much together because of their son.
Okay.
And
Let's
let's
stop there. I think we should stop there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that is a good idea to stop there.
If people watch Atlanta, which they should, it's one of the best shows ever made. That they will understand.
Okay. I'm gonna have some personal questions for you after we're done recording because I want to know.
Okay.
And I've signed NDAs.
Yeah, sounds good.
God damn, I'm excited. Shit. I'm sorry. I'm pausing for just a sip of bourbon here. Oh god damn it!
I'm gonna sip on my gamer water now.
What exactly
now that
are
you're
you
sipping?
drinking? Because I'm not
gamer water, dude.
Oh, gamer water. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. So it's Mountain Dew and Doritos put in a blender?
No, it's literally just water. But I'm a gamer, so when I drink it, it becomes gamer water. It's the best companion for heavy gaming. For gamers such as myself.
Treat yourself, bitch.
Oh, so what are you drinking, Fernando? Fernando, what are you drinking? Do you also enjoy gamer water?
No, I'm addicted to Lipton lemon tea, basically.
Strong
fair.
Zero. That's a lie. He only drinks Strong Zero.
Really? So, for those of you that don't know,
his blood is melted.
So, can you explain what the hell that is for people that might not know?
Zero,
You
basically.
mean Strong Zero? That's the Japanese beer with some flavor in it.
Yeah, and it's got no alcohol, right?
No,
Oh.
it has alcohol. It's just like it's a kind of alcohol that doesn't feel like it, like kind of like vodka. There was
Oh.
this one guy.
That's like the
There was this
champagne
one
tasting
guy
thing,
that.
right?
Yep.
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 Yep. Okay.
There was this one guy in a line for a concert. The idol that he cheered for turned 21, so he decided to chug 21 Strong Zeros in the line.
No.
He made it to like the 7th, and then puked and passed out.
Oh my god. Oh, that's no good.
It was obvious that the guy never drank anything, because otherwise you wouldn't have chugged alcohol that fast.
No, definitely not. But that leads me to an interesting question. How have your new environs and your new lifestyles informed Nirvana?
Holy shit.
How'd you like that transition?
Oh, no, it's just that it made me think a little bit in how you know how we respect Valhalla so much, because it really is you know a very detailed picture of what we were going through at the time, and Nirvana is exactly that as well. It's pretty much a reflection of what we're going through right now. So what you asked is pretty much what goes into the game 100%. Our games are always a reflection of who we are at the moment, which is why we could never, for example, try to replicate what we did with Valhalla, because it's so special and it's so, you know, from the time it was made, it's literally impossible to do it.
There's actually something funny with Valhalla, because we made it. We started making it at one point, and then as we were making it, our lives started changing a lot. So the result was that the game has this sort of growing pains quality to it, where the game feels some sort of dissonant in parts. It's because we changed so much from one point to the next that we got that by the end of it we were completely different people than when we started, but we couldn't just start making the game from scratch, so we just started fixing things along the way, but some things didn't really completely fix, and that's why the game has that weird quality to it.
That's really cool.
Yep.
I think you did a good job. I think that quality would really only be prevalent and kind of forward to people that have played the game multiple times. And I know folks have played this game multiple damn times. And that's kind of same thing with Nirvana is... With the folks, you had talked a lot about respect and kind of honoring what you went through with Valhalla, and some of the gameplay and some of the choices are different. Some of the things are different between Valhalla and Nirvana. Can you talk about what kind of a game Nirvana is and what's going to be different, not just in the story, because we've already talked about the differences between the two cities. We've talked about the differences between the two bartenders, but kind of some of the gameplay and some of the systems. What might be familiar for folks with Valhalla, and what have you done to bring in new folks into the series? Because you can play Nirvana without having played Valhalla. So how do you balance that?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is it's how we approach the gameplay. in the sense that in Valhalla you have a bunch of situations that end up being largely the same. For example, there is almost never a time where the gameplay is challenged in well, it's not that it becomes challenging or has to become challenging, but we never spice it up. You know, for example, we could have had a moment where Anna just wants to screw up with Jill and turns off the recipe book, and the player is like, "Oh, holy shit!
No.
How do I make this drink now? I don't have my reference." And
Oh no.
we didn't do that. We didn't make the mechanics. We didn't play with the mechanics more. We didn't mix things up in a way that would make for a more interesting experience as you go along. Thankfully, it wasn't a deal breaker for pretty much anyone in the audience. They love the shit out of the game, but I feel we could have done so much better in that regard, and that's something we want to fix in Nirvana. We want to make a more interesting situations where the gameplay is just twists in this sort of I don't know, Hideo Kojima-esque moments, I suppose, for a lack of a better word.
Yeah, playing the players' expectations.
Yeah, it's not even the expectations, but rather just they come to this part of the game. They say, "Holy shit! I can't believe they did this with the gameplay. They didn't do anything outside the mechanics that are already there. They just played a lot with them. I want players to feel like that, and I want players. For example, I played. Well, this is my gamer sin, but I actually hated Metal Gear. I actually hated Metal Gear Solid 3 for like 15 years. The game released, I thought it played like ass, absolute ass. I love the story and stuff. Right? Freaking hated the gameplay. But recently I played it on the PlayStation Vita and beat it for the first time. And I was like, well, aside from all my issues with the controls and that stuff, the ways the game, grabs all of its mechanics and those really interesting things with them to enhance the story. And Kojima does that a lot with all of his games. And this is not me saying that he has inspired me to do that specifically. It was more like, oh man, we really fucked up there in Valhalla, so we better do good in the sequel.
I don't think anybody out there has felt like you've fucked up, but it's the
no, absolutely. I know that.
Yeah.
It's more of it could have been better, could have packed this extra punch that would have made it, just the perfect chef kiss of a game. It already is, but it could have been the best chef kiss ever.
It's nice that you're bringing those lessons forward.
Yeah. We want to improve all of that.
Yep. Big thing about the gameplay side of things is precisely that we didn't have, how to explain it, it didn't really have much of a groundwork that let us play with things. The way that the game worked was really limited in that sense. The internal mechanics of how the drinks work were very, very basic, so to speak. Compared to Nirvana, where, for example, the drinks you have, we have all these ingredients, but not only do you have recipes, you can also improvise outside of the recipes. That's the first big thing. Cool. Because, for example, we could have a client ask for a very specific drink that you have, or you could give them something that tastes like the drink that you just gave them instead of the regular drink. And the game accounts for all of those things. It accounts if it's a recipe, what ingredients it has, what amount of each ingredient it has, and what and the individual ingredients and flavors that it has thanks to all that. For example, to give an example of the internal workings, how they have evolved even within Nirvana itself. For example, in Valhalla, we'd have someone ask for a sweet drink.
Mm-hmm.
Drinks weren't really sweet drinks were a flag that certain specific drinks had. So, for example, you had a sugar rush that will have the sweet flag, and the game will check, okay, it's sweet, it has it. Then, for example, you have Parka, who during her demo was asked for something that wasn't strong.
Yep.
What strong meant during that specific demo was something that was sweet, that had alcohol. Sorry. Strong meant something that either was sweet or had alcohol, but was also sweet. Because, for example, if you have a straight shot of rum, that's a bit strong for people. That's what strong means in this sense.
Yep.
And for that, we tried making a strong property into the game. It will check, okay, we have alcohol and we don't have sweet, so add the strong property to it. This was really messy, and it actually prompted me after Parka's demo to rework how things worked. If we were to adapt the old demo to the way the drinks work now, it will just check, okay, check if the drink has sweet and alcohol, but sweet has priority over alcohol. So, for example, you added a syrup or juice or stuff that added more sweet than it has just plain alcohol, and it's the way the internal game works, the way the game works internally has changed a lot, even just between Parka and Olivia's demo, even if people don't actually see that from the outside. And just having more complete stuff lets us play more. We have more tools to play with, and thus we can make more fun stuff. We can a lot of the recipes, a lot of the things that were asked for in Valhalla could have been way more interesting if we had the tools we have now. But the thing is that the tools now only exist because we're iterating over what Valhalla already did. So we were grabbing what we already did in Valhalla and tried to expand on it. And then when that expansion ran into a wall, we started reworking everything, and that's how we ended up here. So it's not simply... I remember an interview during TGS 2018, the one where we revealed Nirvana for the first time. An interviewer asked me, he played the demo and asked me, okay, but why didn't Valhalla have these innovations that you made with the drinks? And I'm like, because I didn't know how to do them back then.
Yeah.
Hell, when we started making Valhalla, I barely know how to program compared to everything that we needed. We were working in RenPy, which already did most of the work for you.
Yeah.
But then we need a text framework. We need something that shows the dialogue. We need something to save the game and all that stuff. And I didn't know how to do them. So, in anime when you have the main character go through some hellish training ready for the tournament? Valhalla was that, basically.
I would give so much to see a 2-minute training montage of you going through all of that while making the game. That was a perfect analogy.
Years compressed in 2 minutes.
That would be absolutely...
Just make sure the music is the Eye of the Tiger ripoff that shows up in No More Heroes, and you're golden.
Yeah.
There is no other song that would be appropriate for this moment. What? No.
It has to be the No More Heroes version.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It has to be that one.
No, we've only been talking for about, I don't know, 45 minutes or so, and I would attribute most of the Normal Heroes soundtrack to the both of you at this point. 100%.
That's very flattering. The 51 in my nickname, it's very obvious, so you know how happy that makes me.
Flattery works both ways, my shark hunting friend. It would be cool to know a little bit more about the kind of the mechanics. Because some people might think like, oh, all you're doing is mixing drinks and that's it. Can you talk a little bit more about the mechanics and how the mechanics can kind of keep the player engaged as far as like, moving the story forward and sort of, it's not so much picking the path that you want to go, it's just the kind of person that you want to be, and then the story takes you somewhere. Is that accurate? That's always the
Basically,
feeling that I got.
Yeah, that's what I've seen a lot of people like share the feeling of, because you have people that are like, man, I feel bad for giving them big drinks, but I also have to make their rent this month, stuff like that.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh, I love that.
So talk a little bit more about the mechanics. Chris, are you eating chips?
Yeah.
You magnificent, magnificent bastard. So tell me a little bit more, with your mouth full of chips, about the mechanics of Nirvana.
Well, I think the biggest
really
takeaway we can have here is that you can.
What kind of chips?
Tristos.
God, I'm so hungry. All right, in between, you know what? You tell me about the mechanics, and then I'm gonna go get some food. I'm gonna get a snack, because that's not fair.
Make sure it's a hot dog.
What'd you say?
Just make sure it's a hot dog.
So you want me to go get a
hot doggo?
You want me to go get
Corone.
a hot doggo?
Yeah, atsui korone. So, mechanics. Oh boy. Well, Fernando mentioned something really interesting. Okay,
Yeah,
can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the internet had dropped for a second.
No, it just
I
sounded
saw,
like you
the
said,
icon.
Fernando said something interesting, and then it sounded like you were waiting for Fernando to fill in.
No. Okay, so anyway, so Fernando mentioned something really interesting in that the game creates situations that people talk about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh man, I need to make rent, or I don't want to give them the big drinks, but I have to make rent, and that sort of stuff, and how things that like optional karma train become like a meme among the community.
Yep.
That kind of stuff can be made on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
We can't possibly say, hey, let's come up with this with intention that it becomes. I mean, we can't do that. That ruins the whole point of making a good game.
Yep.
But the general intention of providing players of memorable events, it's embedded right into the gameplay. For example, we want to, how to put it into words. There are some times during playtesting where people are like, they don't know what to do, so they just give the characters whatever. Mm-hmm. You can't do that in Valhalla. You're sort of forced to choose from the recipe book. And while in Nirvana, you can just do whatever. You can mix whatever drink you want and giving them a name even. Mm-hmm. That kind of stuff just opens up the game, and I really want to see people be like, streaming Nirvana and be like having the chat suggest drinks that don't exist in the game, or play around with the weird ingredients, that kind of stuff. I mean, just make it a more pleasant experience to both play and watch, and having this enhanced by, for example, a streamer. It's just like, what will happen if I give them this, and then the result is hilarious and everyone just bursts out laughing.
Cool.
I remember when I was in
that kind of stuff.
when I was in an interview when the game released here in Japan for Switch last year. I got invited to Tenjin Getcha, which is an online show that is made by a bunch of people whose names escape me except Chiyomaru Shikura, because I remember when I asked in public for people to make porno for game, he looked so defeated. Anyways, they were
you've done it
making
again,
a demonstration.
so-
Actually,
Good job.
when we were when they were demoing the game, they were talking about what drinks to make and stuff, and everything I could think of in that moment was, man, but Nirvana is so much better right now. I could play to the audience. I could be like, what drink do you like? What ingredients do you like? And then just tell them to mix whatever. And I couldn't do that in Valhalla. That was, I think, the first moment, because I already had a feel for how the game was improving, but that moment when there was an audience and I realized the freedom that Nirvana gave you compared to Valhalla, that was the first moment where I realized we really had something good going on mechanically.
That's really cool. So in Nirvana, would a real life, because I've been a bartender before, would that knowledge benefit me here?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually did a bartender course like after Valhalla shipped. So that knowledge is bleeding over Nirvana, and I'm like, yeah, let's do this way, because that's how they taught me in bartending school.
That's pretty freaking cool. So, go
Speaking-
ahead.
Speaking of mechanics, another thing that helps people get into the zone in the game is actually the new mechanic that Nirvana has overall, which is we call it the mood board, but we don't like to use the word mood, because it gives that image of women being moody and having swings, but really it's related to how you want the mood of the conversation to go.
Yeah.
It's just there is no better word for it. Anyways, it's the
Presentation?
screen where you can. It's the window where you can pick how Sam reacts to a situation.
Yeah. Yep.
The reaction board. That's another thing that we wanted to add. A lot of people commented about Valhalla. Oh, it doesn't have dialogue choices or whatever, and it's in the end very few people that said it, because most people got the joke that you're not supposed to be in control of the character.
Right.
You're just taking things in a direction, so to speak. But we wanted something to expand on, like a second layer to the bartending side, something that helped the player steer things a specific direction, and that's where the mood things came in, because we're like, okay, you're not making a choice, but you're vaguely taking things a specific way. It's not like, oh, Sam has hold on, the door is sounding real quick. Give me a quick sec to get
that's
that,
totally fine.
or they're gonna keep ringing.
Yep, I get it. Yep. So, Chris,
Yes.
how you doing?
Doing all right.
Good. Good. That gamer water treating you okay?
Hell yeah, man! It's keeping me hydrated, which is way more than I could ask for. I sit around a lot, so I need my liquid.
I'm honestly like I'm half tempted to figure out how, like at conventions and things like that, how difficult it would be to get like.
I'm back. What did I miss?
Oh, we were just talking about maybe branding gamer water and selling it at conventions.
Fuck.
Like Nirvana brand gamer water.
Oh no! He's gonna sell Sam bad water, boys. No. Oh no.
Oh God, I'm noting that down somewhere.
Oh my god.
There's money to be made there.
Oh my god, that actually would sell. Oh.
Yes.
Oh, you boys have done it again. Anyway, Fernando, you were talking about the mechanics and the reaction board.
Yes. So the thing about about that specific thing is that even if you're making a choice, you're not making a choice for Sam, because Sam is still reacting in a way that Sam would. It's just like when you're in a conversation and you're thinking, well, there's 3 ways I could react to what they just told me. And it's not your reactions, it's Sam's reactions. They're always in character for Sam.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, Sam isn't really a judgmental person.
Yeah, she seems very kind.
Exactly. So she will never, for example, have a reaction where she's just like disapproving of what somebody says they do for a living, for example.
Okay.
She wouldn't have a choice like that, but she will have, for example, if Sam were to encounter Dorothy for the first time, for example, her reactions will be either express interest or express concern that Dorothy might not know what she was doing, only for Dorothy to reassure her that she knows what she does is not a child's game and that she's ready to face whatever risk she might have in the situation.
Right.
So there we have choices, but they are Sam's choices, and they're always left vague so that the player also has that sort of, okay, what is she going to say if I pick this? Or if they get to know Sam as a character, they might grab a feel of what she might say.
Right. That moment
However,
of anticipation.
we also
moment of
realized
discovery.
really quickly, with Olivia's demo, that everyone picks the flirty option. Everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Christine Love had that problem too with her last game, where she would demo it in events and she was like, everyone picks the flirty option. It's frustrating.
Who are you talking about?
Yeah.
For those of you that know.
Lady Killer in a Bind, a game from Christine Love.
Yep. Good game.
Mm.
Real good game. Who wouldn't pick the flirty option? No, the flirty option is the first one. All the other options are for multiple playthroughs.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's why you've got gamer water. Because you're thirsty. So,
I guess you could say that.
Yes, Fernando asked for porn. Of course I can. Let's as we're winding this down, is there any, I don't have any like very pointed questions, but is there anything specific that you want the attendees of LudoNarraCon that are watching this right now, is there anything specific you'd like them to know about Nirvana?
Oh god, the things I want them to know are pretty much spoilers, so it sucks.
Don't do that. No. What's the, when
It sucks, but all I can say is that what I wanted to say pretty much is that we always, make our games speak for us. and when the time comes, people will see what we wanted to show them. It's vague. I hate it. I know. I wish I could be more transparent about the development process. But this is a narrative game, and if we give everything away, the story is not affected by spoilers because the story doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Uh, but
There's that
but
humility
I mean, in
again.
the sense of this discovery, the sense of surprise, I really value that, and I don't want people to be like, "Oh man, I got spoiled by the freaking developer."
Yeah.
Shit, you have never gone to LudoNarraCon.
Yeah, damn it. How about you, Fernando?
Yeah, basically what Chris said. There's a lot we could talk about, and we probably will after the game releases. But for now, we will everything that we might talk about, we will let the game speak for us.
Cool.
But I can say this in a very shitty in a very shitty way, because I hate comparing our work to other people's work, but it feels right to say it because we can't give much details. But I brought up a comparison with Atlanta like a bit ago.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, if you like stuff like Atlanta, if you like stuff like The Sopranos, if you like stuff like Better Call Saul, I think you will really, really, really like what we have in store for Nirvana, because those are probably the closest things in fiction to what we want to do. And I say it again, I hate doing this, but man, I just can't stand being vague. So I just rather, make people have a frame of reference for what we want to, transmit.
That's fair.
less outside reference frame of reference would be that Nirvana is going to be Valhalla, but way more. For all the good,
way more.
For all the good, and for some people, bad. Like, if you had problems with Valhalla, and you know who you are, and you know who what the problems are, away, we're doubling up on our bullshit.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah,
cool. So you
that's
heard it here first.
The best way to put it.
You heard it here. Nirvana, Sukeban Games doubling down on their bullshit. Awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Fuck yeah. You guys are rad. This is a fantastic damn conversation. We hope you out there attending LudoNarraCon have enjoyed it. Please go and check out all of the other games. Definitely check out this one. Like I said, you're already on Steam. Valhalla is available if you want to see what all the fuss and the hubbub is about. And you should stop listening to me now and go over to the Valhalla page and buy it right now. That's cool. We'll wait. Go. But for the rest of you,
it's a content warning, though. Just a content warning on Valhalla. It has anime girls.
Yes, it does, and some anime guys, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that's another thing for Nirvana. More guys. People ask for them. That's the one thing we can talk about because it's not technically a spoiler.
No.
More guys.
Good. Fantastic. Excellent. I'm a bisexual dude. I want more guys.
Yeah, it's a very requested feature. It's like, oh man, this is waifu bartending, but where are the husbandos?
Right.
So we're like, I guess
after living in Japan for like 2 years and seeing all the money that Johnny's production and whatever make, I'm like, yeah, I want some of that money too, please.
Good. So you've also heard it here first. If you want more guys with big requested features, Nirvana is for you. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I really appreciate the time and the talk. Yeah. So LudoNarraCon rolls on. This video will loop, so if you missed part of it or came in halfway through, just hang around. It's gonna play again. unless unless it goes over to a different day, we're going to have Fernando and Chris back, and we're going to talk about some of the characters of Nirvana on a day later than this one. So thank you very much. Is there anything that you would like to say to the audience out at LudoNarraCon, gentlemen?
This better ends with a cheesy talk show theme.
You have a lot of confidence in my editing ability, and I don't have enough time to find an open source one that we're not going to be sued. So we can just do this. Bye.